Hello, welcome to Duncan Egg Bricks and to a review video with a bit of a difference. Once again, I have been sent a lighting kit by the company Lightailing. They got in touch with me again and asked if I'd like to review another one of their lighting kits. If you haven't seen my previous review, I will link it below and in the corner. I did a review of their lighting kit for the Burrow. And this time I thought I'd go a little bit further and try something more ambitious. I had a good time with that kit. So I requested that the lighting kit for Rivendell, that set 10316 be sent out to me, and yeah, I have got it here. Now, full disclosure, they did send this to me for free, but they're not getting any, say in this video or my opinions of the set, so those are all my own, but just being transparent there that I was sent this for free to review. So let's get this open and take a look inside. I haven't opened this at all, so it's still in its shrink wrap. It arrived very quickly, which was great. So here we are. This is quite familiar. Can I get this tape off? Should have actually taken a look at how to open this beforehand. Oh no, that's not too bad. Right, let's see. So, scan the QR code for a PDF user manual, but we do get paper manual inside, which is really good. I'll take a look at that in a minute, and here are the components, which are all within this nice bubble wrap envelope. Decent quality box, I would say. So let's see what we get. So they do sell a range of individual components, and then when you buy one of these kits, when you get one of these kits, they do actually then just send you the right component parts, but they have then been labelled presumably in the order that they need to be built. And by the looks of it, yes, it's similar to how it was last time. You get real Lego pieces in there, which is really nice. So in fact, yeah, the last one I did, the Lego pieces were actually, they were basically just stuck. You basically got the Lego piece in the kit and then you stuck your lighting onto that. Is that the battery box? Oh, that's interesting. It's a studded battery box. That's cool. But in this one, it looks like they are actually, drilled into some of the pieces, which is cool. So yeah, I am going to get the Rivendell set out from its little hidey hole, pop it on the desk, and yeah, I'm going to take a look through the instructions and make a start on lighting this set up. Right, so here we are. I have got the first section of Rivendell and I have followed through the instructions to get it all wired up. They are fairly easy to follow. They're just pictures showing you exactly what you need to do step by step. Was a little bit confused when I initially started because there are 3 bags, which are labelled 1, 2 and 3, but I wasn't exactly sure what went where. It doesn't make it completely clear, but it is part 1 or bag 1 goes to this. Bag 2 goes to the centre section and bag 3 goes to the river and forge section, so that does make sense. They're fairly easy to follow. They require you to kind of prise apart some of the pieces and then kind of slip the cables in between them. So you can see just there's a cable there. It's actually stuck underneath here and then comes up there and follows through there. The cables are just about thin enough to the point where you can slip them between the studs and then press a plate down on top. It doesn't get pressed down 100%, but it's enough of the way there that will provide enough clutch power to stay on. There are a few bits like that where you can see the cables. In fact, it becomes a little bit more obvious when you come around the statues just here. But they are quite thin and they're not particularly noticeable. I do find myself wishing for a build like this that the cables had maybe made in a dark green or something, so then you could at least pretend that they were ivy or something like that. But it's not a big deal. It's quite good in this. I think the previous set, which I put together for the Burrow, required you to plug lots of cables in and then, put them in place. But actually that was not the case here. That is that they put everything in one. Just grab bag 3 here. Everything is just in one pre-made chain of lights, all with a single USB-A connection. So that's all pre-done. As you can see, that's pre-drilled into some parts there, / stuck on the underside. So that's really, really helpful. And you basically just have to follow. There's some sticky, double-sided sticky things, and you just peel them off, stick them on. So yeah, a bit finicky, got there in the end. Then I tried to plug it in. What they provide you in the box is two of these lighting boxes, or battery boxes I should say, that take AA batteries. I've actually elected to just plug it into basically a phone charger for now. Don't have any batteries in the house. These are decent though, and they are studded, obviously not official Lego, but they are studded, so you could stud them onto a surface, either top or bottom, just as a simple on-off switch and a single USB-A socket there. So I'll pop that to one side. So yeah, I tried plugging this in and initially thought that it was broken because it wasn't working at all. They do recommend that you try the chain of lights before you put it in, and I didn't because I was in a rush, but I tried it with the other ones and they do work. And yeah, then I went back and just kind of troubleshot a bit and basically found out that there was a piece under here. Everything's going to fall off if I do this. There's a piece stuck on there on the underside. Now that's a 1x4 plate which has small holes drilled on either end where the cables go, and it wanted you to press it up into that gap there, which is only 4 studs wide. So those cables were really squeezed at an angle and didn't have anywhere to go. And by removing it and actually putting in one of my own 1x4 plates underneath, or I should say on top of it, to space it out a little bit, that seems to have fixed the problem. A little bit bizarre, kind of feels like a water pipe, which is not actually how electricity behaves, but there we are. And now it does work, so I will plug it in and just show you what the effect is. There we go. It's pretty good. There's a whole range of lights. Most of them are in this kind of like white, warm white. I agree that the effect isn't quite as good in the daylight, but it's interesting you can still see it. There are, oops, taking that out as I go. I'll put it back in a second. There are lights on the interior, in the roof, and under here as well, but there are also lights on each of the statue alcoves, which is cool. And then there's also a green light in this little hidey hole down here where Sam hides, which kind of defeats the purpose of having it as a secret hidey hole. But yeah, and then there's also a light in the interior there. That cable is a bit obvious. I might just try and hide that a little bit more. So yeah, pretty good so far. And yeah, now that I know that it does work, I'm looking forward to getting on with the next part. It's actually a few days later, and as you can see, I have the complete Rivendell model in front of me. I've actually not been very well for the last few days, so I haven't filmed the rest of the progress, but I have been getting on and putting all of the lights in place. You might notice there's a little bit of a change of location. I've shifted some stuff around. Hogwarts is now down there, which allows Rivendell to take kind of pride of place in the shelf just here. So this is the complete Rivendell, and I have fitted all the sets of lights. The way it works is you end up with 3 sets of lights with 3 plugs, and you get 2 battery boxes. One of those battery boxes has an additional cable which you plug in, which splits it into 2. So that means that in the end, if I can just see it behind here, you can just see if it will focus. There we go. There are just 2 battery boxes down there, and if I reach through, I can switch them both on, and there we go. There is the finished product. If it will focus again, there we go. Those are all the lights on Rivendell, and I think the overall effect is really, really good. The majority of the lights are these kind of warm white, as I said before, but then there are a few kind of feature lights, green down there and there, blue for under the bridge, where I've actually just put an old Gollum minifigure who has spent the last couple of years, if it'll focus, spent the last couple of years hanging out in the Hogwarts boathouse. But there we go, there is the finished product, and I think it looks really, really nice. I actually think it's going to make me want to illuminate some more of my models, maybe including Hogwarts, but if not, then just some lights on the bottom of shelves just to make things pop, because it really does create a really nice effect. The rest of the instructions were just the same as the other parts that I mentioned before. They're mostly fairly easy to follow. A couple of times it was a little bit tricky to see things, and you just have to pay extra attention. One thing I will say is that when you wire everything according to the instructions, both the council ring and the gazebo are not as easy to detach from the rest of the model. Obviously they are separate parts which are supposed to be able to take out and display, or gain access to the stuff underneath. It does make it a little bit more tricky. I've actually done this tree here on the council ring a little bit differently, so the light has ended up in the same position just there, but I've actually not wound it through the trunk of the tree. Basically just means I can detach that and remove the council ring if I want to. But other than that, it was fairly simple to go through. It's not going to be perfect however you do it. The other thing I did want to say is there are a few lights that don't appear to be working. Now I had that initial problem with the first part over there where the cables were being stressed in the wrong way, and I fixed that so they're all on. I have checked the others and they don't appear to be stressed. There should be a couple of LEDs just underneath that bridge there, And there should also be, well, there definitely is one. Where's that candle gone? Oh, it's hiding behind the pillar. There's another candle just there which should be lit up like those ones and isn't. It's not the end of the world because there are a huge number of lights and the overall effect is still there, but it's a little bit of a shame that those lights aren't working. They were when I tested them before putting the light chains in, so you know, obviously something has gone wrong while I've been putting them in, but I was following the instructions, so I'm not entirely sure what I can have done to break them. So maybe just something for the manufacturers to keep an eye out for. But as you can see, the majority of them are working, which is really nice. Lights up the gazebo over here. You've got a lantern just there, which looks really nice. These flames are illuminated. Like I said, there's a light under here for the river. And yeah, the overall effect is just really, really nice. And this is, you know, in a room that's not completely dark at the moment. Coming over into the corner, you can see you can still get the kind of lighting effect, even though the light is coming in from the outside window. So yeah, it's pretty respectable there, pretty bright lights. I am using the battery packs, so they've got some AA batteries in those packs behind there, so I've just got to remember to actually turn them off, otherwise those batteries are going to go down probably quite quickly. But yeah, they provide nice bright light for the moment, and I think everything looks quite good. I've arranged all the figures around the set, just, you know, a little bit randomly, but just to make it make sense. I have some of these older figures just here. So yeah, a really good set. There was one, what I'd actually call an error in the instructions. I mentioned before about that 1x4 fitting into the 4 wide gap, and that being a bit of a problem, but I do kind of understand that. The only problem that I actually found in the instructions was here, when you're fitting the light. If it'll focus on that, come on. When you're fitting a light into the smaller of the two turrets, it instructs you to put the light there, so that's a 1x1 round plate in trans clear with an LED in it. That's absolutely fine, you put it in there. But then here you're actually putting it onto these 4 headlight bricks on their backs, and the kind of foot of the headlight brick that is there actually comes into conflict with that round plate, so it actually doesn't sit as it's supposed to. In fact, even this picture here looks a little bit wonky, and try as I might, I couldn't get it in until I realized what was going on. So I actually put it in a little bit differently. I basically attached it to the bottom, as it were, of one of these headlight bricks, which is on its back, and that ultimately solved the problem, and I think it looks absolutely fine. Having real trouble focusing today. Oh, you can you can hear in my voice that I've not been very well. Yeah, so ultimately it looks absolutely fine, but just be wary of that, and you know, it's just one of those little troubleshooting things that isn't a big deal, but it's something to look out for. Well, there we go. That was the lighting kit for Rivendell by Lightailing. Like I said at the beginning, they did send me this kit for free to review, but they're not getting any kind of say in my review. But I hope they'll be happy, because I was pretty happy with it. And I would definitely recommend lighting up sets like this, because they really are a kind of statement piece. And I don't think that the lights take away from the build of the set. Like I said, it does make it a little bit more tricky to detach things that are meant to be detachable. But you know, at the end of the day, it is Lego, so you can take things apart, you can modify stuff, and you can choose not to put certain lights in certain places. So yeah, very happy with that. I think that looks really, really nice. And yeah, I'm going to heavily consider lighting up more of my sets in future. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave it a like down below. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about this lighting kit. Subscribe to the channel for future videos, and there should be in the description a discount code if you do want to go ahead and buy this or any other lighting kits from Lightailing. Like I was saying, not sponsored for this video, but you can use that little code if you would like to. I don't get anything from it. It's just something they've provided to give my viewers a little bit of money off. So there we go. Hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you again very soon.